Hello and welcome to the dark side. Today we are going to be looking at urban legends and myths from around the world. I'm just going to read here the urban definition of what an urban legend is. So it says over here, urban legends are a humorous or horrific story or piece of information circulated as though true, especially when purporting to involve someone vaguely related or known to the teller. That means urban legends, they started off from someone who has first-hand accounts of whatever the story entails. Okay, so we know of two very famous urban legends, specifically in America. We have Bigfoot and we have Bloody Mary. But for today, we are going to look at urban legends, perhaps not as well known, and globally from around the world. So without any further ado, let's get started. I'm actually going to start with my personal favorite. I know, starting out with the favorites already, but I love legends and stories specifically from Japan. They're just really good urban legends. So the one that I'm going to be talking about is the haunting beauty of Kuchisake Onna. So let's take a look at this urban legend. As the legend goes, Kuchisake was a woman who was disfigured by her husband. Now she roams the streets wearing a surgical mask, kind of similar to what we wear when, there's COVID outside, to hide the fact that her mouth is split from cheek to cheek, kind of like the Joker, okay? He slashed her face, disfigured her, and now her cheeks are cut open. If she meets you on the road, she will ask you if you think she is beautiful. If you say no, she will kill you. If you say yes, she will take off her mask to show her terrifying face. Then, if you were to yell out no, that she's not beautiful, she will kill you. But if you lie and say, yes, you are beautiful, she is going to carve out your face to be the exact same replica as her own. So you should be very careful. According to the legend, the only way to avoid Kuchisake Onna is to give vague answers. So no yes or no, but kind of beating around the bush. So we're going to take a look at the next legend, and this is in UAE, or United Arab Emirates. And we are going to look at duwais. Okay, her name is duwais, and she is a jinn or a genie. So I'm sure you know what a genie is. You've probably seen it from Aladdin, right? So the word genie originates from the word jinn, and this is an Arabic mythological creature in folklore who is said to be either good, neutral, or evil. An evil spirit. They can be mischievous, they can possess people, they can shapeshift into humans or animals. So a jinn can do basically anything, okay? And there's a lot of legends about the jinn in Arabic folklore. So here we have a story, and it is the most famous urban legend in the UAE. So duwais is a female jinn or jinni. So according to the legend, duwais was a beautiful woman with stunning features, a slim and beautiful body with long black hair, big, dark, exotic Arab eyes, and when she walks, you can smell the exotic perfume coming off her body from about a mile away. She would be covered in gold from head to toe and would call out to men with her lovely voice. Indeed, no man could resist her, but when they got close, she revealed her true identity to them, that of an old hag. She's not as beautiful as one would think. Her face is so scary that no one could continue to look at her face. Then what she would do is she would kill those men who were unfortunate enough to be seduced by her. So legend has it, this story originates from an ancestor who wanted to ward men off the streets during the night's quote unquote ungodly hours. Yeah, that's how it originated from. It was fabricated from ancestors who just wanted men off the streets. Next, we are going to look at an urban legend from India, and it is about an Indian village. by the name of Kuldara, and it is in Rajasthan. And this civilization, these ruins, can still be found today if you were to go and see. This town dates back to the 13th century, but no one has lived there since 1825. Now this is where it's factual, okay? Let's pause here with the legends for a second and focus on the scientific facts. Historically, no one has inhabited this village since 1825. True. Now for the urban side of it, the legend side of it. According to the local lore, 1,000 villagers completely abandoned their home overnight without a trace. No one knows why, no one saw them leave, no one knows anything about them or knows what happened to them. There were 1,000 people residing in this village one night, and overnight they were all gone. Even if something were to happen that would make people leave that desperately, whether it be natural disasters, what have you, the fact that all of them were able to escape without a single trace of them or anyone seeing them is kind of mind-blowing.
जड़े बोला ब्राह्मण बोला कि मैं लड़की की शादी नहीं कराऊं, आप मांस मछली खा।
There are many theories as to why they left, ranging from poison wells to a greedy ruler levying high taxes, okay, to a dwindling water supply, though none of those explain why the inhabitants left so suddenly. So regardless of what the rumors are and the theories of why people left, nobody knows how 1,000 people left without anybody realizing it, you know? And you might be wondering why no one has tried to resettle in the town. That's where the legend comes in, okay? So it's said that the village chief cursed the land. Apparently, anyone who tries to live there will die. In fact, they even had the Indian Paranormal Society spend a night there. Yes, there was an Indian Paranormal Society. How cool is that? I would totally love to join that kind of club. And they actually tried to sleep there overnight, and they apparently reported disembodied whispers, screams, noises. Many members have even witnessed figures, heard footsteps, and experienced unusual touch. So meaning they felt as if someone was touching them. They looked behind them and there was no one. And this was reported by the society as well. So till this day, nobody knows what happened to the inhabitants of the village. Next, we have here another urban legend, and this originates from Europe. Yes, I know Europe is not a country, but there are so many countries that have this legend in Europe, I just decided to say Europe. Mainly though Germany and Austria, I would say. And this is the legend of Krampus. Krampus is an evil Santa. Yeah, you heard me right. So he's a demonic creature with a goat-like appearance, bearing large horns, cloven hooves, and dark hair. He has a really long tongue that sticks out of his fangs, okay, and he's extremely hairy. According to Germanic folklore, Krampus is Saint Nicholas's counterpart who has the role of punishing children on Saint Nick's naughty list. Okay, so you have Santa that doesn't look at the naughty kids, he only rewards the good. But anyone on the naughty list gets punished by Krampus. And by punished, I mean they are never seen again. Nobody knows what happens to these poor kids. Also, Krampus is said to have chains and bells as accessories hanging off his body. So every time he would walk, you would hear him coming, which is very ominous. And you know, you're associating such cheerful, merry sounds with something so sinister. It's kind of like a horror movie, like you know how you have like the music box playing in the background or children's nursery rhymes. So those kind of things are associated with like possessed and evil and creepy horror things that it will make you scared, right? When you hear such innocent little sounds. It's kind of like that. If you hear bells coming your way, that's not a good sign. Run, kids.
He is the shadow of Saint Nicholas.
Okay, so now we are going to be looking at the next urban legend, and this originates in Hawaii, and this is about the Night Marchers. So they are spirits of former ancient Hawaiian warriors who once in life protected Hawaii's most sacred people. The night marchers, they were simply doing their jobs, which is why they traveled at night to avoid too many prying eyes. So night marchers are the spirits of Hawaiians, and legend has it that if you look directly at a night marcher, you will be marked for death. So you won't die right away, but you will be marked for death. If you do happen to find yourself among them, you are supposed to lie down in the road and look up out of respect. Do not look them in the eye. They are said to be normal-sized warriors dressed for battle, carrying spears, clubs, and some are beating war drums and blowing tones from conch shells to announce the advancing of their march. According to the myth, they are suspended in air. Their feet do not touch water or ground as they traverse through the night, and they leave no evidence of their visitations. Okay? They are said to come forth from their burial sites or to rise up from the ocean and to march in a large group to ancient Hawaiian battle sites or other sacred places. They march in darkness after sunset and march as a group continuously until just before sunrise. Anyone living along their path may hear chanting, sounds of blown conch shell tones, and marching noises in the night. The following signs are a foul and musky, death-like odor, and torches getting brighter and brighter as the night marchers get closer. Night marchers might appear during the day if they are to escort a dying relative to the spirit world. So be careful anytime you are in Hawaii around any burial sites or sacred places, because chances are you can faintly hear the sounds of beating drums or even smell an odor coming forward. The last urban legend we are going to take a look at comes from Mexico, and this is the legend of La Llorona. Okay, so according to stories, La Llorona was a woman who was left by her husband. In her grief, she drowned her children and herself, and she now spends her time as a ghost wandering around, crying and looking for her children. The legend states that anyone who comes near her will meet the same fate as her children. Other versions of the story claim she actually kidnaps other kids.
Rinsing.
In the typical version of the legend, she's a very beautiful woman and she marries a rich man with whom she bears 2 children. One day, she sees her husband with another woman, and in a fit of blind rage, she drowns their children in a river, which she immediately regrets. So out of revenge, she takes her and her husband's kids and she drowns them. Unable to save them and consumed by guilt, she drowns herself as well, but is unable to enter the afterlife, forced to be in purgatory and roam this earth until she finds her children. In another version of the story, the children are illegitimate, and she kills them because she doesn't want her husband to run off and be with the mother of her kids. So something La Llorona is associated with is a long white dress, her wet, long, dark hair, and La Llorona in Spanish means the wailer. So she's always wailing and screaming with her wet gown and hair. She looks drenched all the time, so any association with water. There you have it. These are the urban legends that I came across from other countries and cultures that I found to be very interesting. So comment down below which one of these was your favorite and if you can think of anything else from around the world. So while I was doing research, I actually came across a lot of incredible Chinese urban legends. And by incredible, I mean creepy and mysterious, and it was just too good for me to only pick one for this video. So actually, next video is going to be specifically on Chinese urban legends. If that's the kind of stuff that interests you, don't forget to subscribe so you can get a notification when the video comes out. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.